Vegas, it's Football Forecast Weekly. Starring Dennis Tobler. With the Professor Gordon Jones. And special reports with Dave Hammer. And now, the host of Football Forecast Weekly, Bob Elder.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Football Forecast Weekly, the show that each week right here on this station gives you the insights and the information that you need to help better handicap and predict college and professional games. Hi, I'm your host, Bob Elder. Well, week number 7 is now upon us, and there's only one unbeaten team left in the NFL, and that's Miami. And, of course, in the college ranks, there's a battle for number 1 between Washington and Miami, and they go back and forth. And speaking of back and forth, what a segue. I imagine there's a lot of you out there that have been going back and forth the last several weeks trying to find the right handicapping show to give you the insights you need. A lot of them out there claim that, hey, we have all the winners, and maybe one handicapper claims to have 100% record. Well, I'm sorry, but that just isn't true. And I thought maybe at the beginning of the show I'd take a minute or two and give you a little bit of food for thought when you're looking at a handicapping show. You know, Football Forecast Weekly is going into its 5th year, and we've seen a lot of shows come and a lot of them go, and unfortunately, a lot of them have gone. You see, what happens is a lot of people all of a sudden around the country become so-called experts, people in Florida, Colorado, New York, and New Jersey, but the only experts are really here in Las Vegas, because this is where the action is. See, what these people do is they open a business, they go and rent a television studio, maybe they'll get themselves a host, usually they do it themselves, and then they'll go out and buy a couple of markets, and then the most important thing, they plug in those 800 and 900 numbers, and they expect you to call, and hopefully they'll make a lot of money. And maybe if they do make a lot of money, they'll move here to Las Vegas, because believe me, this is where the action starts, and this is where it finishes. Our 3 resident handicappers, Dennis Tobler, Professor Gordon Jones, and Dave Hammer, all live right here in Las Vegas. They've got their finger on the pulse every day. We bring them up one at a time, and they give you the top games each week. No back and forth. We don't try and argue. They just give you the selections, give you the information. You analyze it. Maybe they'll give you a choice, but ultimately, that decision is yours. You know, I get a kick out of those other television shows. 2 or 3 experts right here on a panel. They argue back and forth. One takes one side, the other takes the other side, and you're totally confused. Well, what's not confusing is usually they own each side of the game anyway. The services are owned by the same companies, so they really win. But the guy I get the biggest kick out of is the one who says, I absolutely love this game. It's my 1,000-star special. Well, if it's so special, why not give them to you right here on the air? Why should you have to pay? See, our people here on Football Forecast Weekly, we don't use monitors. There's no scripts. There's no teleprompters in the studio. All the information comes from right here. You might see them look at notes, but that's just to refresh their memory. See, Football Forecast Weekly is right here in Las Vegas. We look at the top games each week. You can verify it. We've got the top television games, and we go conference to conference to give it a better perspective, because we're in over 30 million households around the country. And right now, there's a lot of shows based in Las Vegas, but we're the only one that's on in Las Vegas. That is credible. And speaking of credible, the man who joins me each week, he started this show, and it continues, Dennis Tobler.
Well, thank you, Bob. That was a real nice dissertation. I certainly think it puts everything in perspective as far as credibility towards handicapping goes. If you're not here and you're not playing the game in Las Vegas, you've got no business selling your selections.
All right, let's go to the games. I didn't want to take that long. Danny Coker, our fine director, is telling me to speed it up. Alabama, -1, taking on Tennessee. Tennessee coming off a tough loss.
Well, Tennessee lost last week to Arkansas, and I think that does show a little bit of vulnerability on the Volunteers' part. The game seemed to me like it should have been kind of a funny situation where there might have been a lot of turnovers or something like that occurring. But I looked back and watched the game, and actually Tennessee did not turn the ball over once in their loss to Arkansas, and I think they're very vulnerable against Alabama's tough defense. Alabama rushed for 434 yards last week. Their defense turned the ball over 5 times to the offense, and they've just been kind of coasting up to this big SEC match. I look for Alabama, who now has their discipline problems behind them and has all of their players healthy, to really dominate this game on defense. I also think the Volunteers are down emotionally. We've had Johnny Majors come back from his surgery, into the press box, onto the field. All of this has used up this team emotionally. I don't think they'll have it for their big SEC match. I'm going to take Alabama -1.
Okay, your ACC, your Big Ten, your WAC game of the year, you've hit all of those. This time you've got your big college game.
This is it, Bob. It's time now to get serious. I'm releasing my college game of the year this weekend, and after hitting all my big games for 5 straight weeks, this is the one you want to get serious with. You can receive this game right now by calling 1-900-903-0933 for only $20.
Okay, we'll give you that number again, and Dennis will be back. He's got more selections, another college game, and 2 pros, and I promise no more commentaries. We'll be back with more of Football Forecast Weekly right after this. Stay with us, everyone.
Hello, football fans. I'm Las Vegas handicapper Dennis Tobler. In the last few weeks, I've hit my ACC Game of the Year, my Big Ten Game of the Year, and my WAC Conference Game of the Year without a loss, and this week it's time to get very serious. I'm releasing my College Game of the Year. The single strongest play of the year I've been waiting a year and a half for goes this week, and you can only get it by calling 1-900-903-0933. For $20, you can have my College Game of the Year.
I'm Prof. Gordon Jones, and I live right here in Las Vegas for one purpose and one purpose only, to put my very best games out on the line every single day. That's my top professional game, my top college game, my best over-under game of the day, and I do that every single day at 1-900-976-9199. I also have a parlay line where we accentuate the positive. We're already 7 games ahead on the parlay. Give me a call at 1-900-976-7117.
Hi, football fans. I'm Dave Hammer. And the last 2 years on Football Forecast, I've hit my over-under selections at an incredible winning rate of 75%. I've spotted a mistake on a total this week on the boards out here that I'm going to make my over-under play of the month by simply calling 900-454-6600. You can have this over-under play for only $20. Remember to listen to the hammer on this one. Call 900-454-6600. Call now.
Hello, football fans. I'm Las Vegas handicapper Dennis Tobler. In the last few weeks, I've hit my ACC Game of the Year, my Big Ten Game of the Year, and my WAC Conference Game of the Year without a loss, and this week it's time to get very serious. I'm releasing my College Game of the Year. The single strongest play of the year I've been waiting a year and a half for goes this week, and you can only get it by calling 1-900-903-0933. For $20, you can have my College Game of the Year.
Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. Time to get back to the business of handicapping. And Dennis, we've got a good game to start with this segment. We've got Oklahoma coming off a loss to Texas, just like you said right here last week, taking on Colorado. Colorado, a 6-point pick. How do you see this one?
Well, I kind of like this one as far as value goes again. Just like last week, I told you the odds maker was wrong on the Texas game. Sure enough, they're wrong again this week. The line stands at Colorado -6 at home here, but I think this is going to be the first of a lot of Big 8 defeats for Oklahoma. Their passing game is not working. Last week, Cale Gundy was 18 of 40 and threw 3 interceptions, and that means they're not utilizing the running backs like they need to do it. When they come up against Colorado this week, they're going to come up against a Colorado team whose quarterback is sidelined right now. Stewart's out of the game. He won't play this week. They're going to start Corey Detmer in this spot, and I don't think he has the experience for a Big 8 contest like this one. I think they should play Duke Tobin, and they may bring him in off the bench. He's a heck of a quarterback, and he can think much faster than the other two. So at any rate, Colorado won't be losing anything with their quarterback out, and you heard that here. Colorado's just too strong. Bill McCartney, as far as I'm concerned, is the coach of the decade. Look what he did since he's come to Colorado. Won Big 8 championships, won national titles, gone to the Orange Bowl, and beat perennial powers like Oklahoma and Nebraska for many years now. This man deserves a lot of credit. He is certainly recruited well, and they have a much better team than Oklahoma. I'm going to take Colorado and lay the 6.
Got to like Colorado at home, too, with that home field advantage.
Well, they've got a home field advantage, and they've got plenty of talent here. They're bigger and stronger on the offensive and defensive lines. They have a great backfield, whether people know it or not. And even though they graduated a lot of talent, they keep restocking with their recruiting classes.
All right, let's go to a big promo that you have this week, and that is the triple play parlay. I love it. Tell people how they can get that.
Well, it's getting so easy to pick the points against the points here in Las Vegas, Bob. I have to come with more than one game for my service selection this week. I've got 3 college matchups that are guaranteed to be easy winners. You call my office at 800-231-WINS right now, and we'll release these 3 games to you absolutely free. See what inside information can do for your bankroll. Give us a call now.
All right, let's go to a good AFC matchup. Might have been a little better had the Broncos played better on Monday night. But the Oilers, with Warren Moon coming off of 5 touchdown passes, he's hot. They go to Denver, a team a little down after Washington humiliated them. The Oilers 2-point picks. How do you see this one?
Well, I can tell you, like everybody else, has been listening to the press too much on the Denver Bronco team. The fact of the matter is, over the last year and a half, the Denver Broncos have the highest winning percentage in the NFL. Did you hear that? Also, John Elway has the greatest winning percentage of any quarterback playing in the NFL, including Dan Marino. So did you hear that? And the fact of the matter is, the Denver Broncos were only 3 points away from the Super Bowl last year after attending 3 of them in the prior years. So the Denver Broncos are sure not a team that's been kicked around a lot, contrary to what you hear on Monday Night Football. The fact is, when these AFC teams go into NFC cities to play away games, they don't care about the matchup. They're much more concerned about their AFC road tests and their AFC home contests and their home contests against NFC teams. When Denver went to Philadelphia and Washington, they didn't care. And I'll tell you why. Right now, Denver's 4-2 and stand at the top of the AFC West, right? Well, people say they're tied with Kansas City. Well, they're not tied with Kansas City. They have 1 win over Kansas City already. So where else would Denver want to be at this time of the season than on top of their division? And that's right where they are. And we're going to get a huge advantage here. The road team, the Oilers, are favored in a big spot at Denver. I'll take the Broncos any day at home. Also, the Oilers play much better on the or at home than they do on the road. Right. And I know that Bronco defense, especially their defensive secondary, can shut down Warren Moon. I like Atwater and Dennis Smith in the secondary of the Broncos. They're 2 of the toughest in the league. I like Denver in this one. I get points. I'm taking the Broncos to win straight up.
I would with John Elway at home. Sounds like a good deal.
Well, you can take him against anybody in the league at home.
All right, let's go to a game coming to Southern California. 2 New York teams in the state have the week off, but one comes out to Southern California. The New York Giants are a 1.5 pick against the Rams, who have 2 what they call in Southern California moral victories, but they're still losses in the win-loss column.
Well, they do have moral victories, and they played very, very well against the Saints the other night. The Saints dominated the ball on the Rams and were able to come up with a win, but the Rams played it just the way they had to stay in the game, and that's exactly the way they're going to play against the Giants this week. And I look for the Giants to do the same thing the Saints did last week. That is, try to keep the ball on the ground. Hostetler's replaced Sims at quarterback, which I think is a big deficit for the Giants. The Giants don't play well on the road. Frankly, I think their coaching is poor, and I think they're getting old, Bob. I think this one's the one the Rams can win. We get a 1.5 at home here. I think they're overdue for a win, and I think they won't make the mistake. I'm going to give you 2 selections for the price of 1. The over and under on this one is 38. I'm going to take the Rams and under for 2 for the price of 1.
Well, I'll go back to Southern California and take that with me. Let's talk about, once again, your triple play parlay that's absolutely free on that 800 line.
Well, Bob, like I say, these lines have been very easy to win, and everybody watching the show for 5 weeks knows how I've came out. And we're going to release 3 teams this week in 3 college matchups. Call my 800 number, 800-231-WINS. Right now, talk to my expert staff. I'll tell you another thing. My staff of experts in New York are the greatest in the business. I've been in this business for a long time, and the staff we put together is the very best. So give them a call. They'll help you out.
And you can still get that college game of the year on the 900.
That's right. My college game of the year goes on 900-903-0933 for $20. You don't want to miss that one.
All right, Dennis, thank you very much. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you, Bob.
And we'll see you in just a couple of minutes, because coming up, the Professor Gordon Jones will be joining us along with Dave Hammer. He's got those important line movements right here from Las Vegas and some over and unders. We'll be back right after this.
Finally, football is here, and what better time to take advantage of the bad numbers on the boards here in Las Vegas than early in the season. That's why I'm releasing another one of my patented 3-team triple play parlays this week, absolutely free to all callers. That's right, you can receive my 3-team college parlay free just by calling 1-800-231-WINS. Call now, 1-800-231-9467.
I'm Professor Gordon Jones, and this is the time of the year when the teams that really put it together get good and that some teams really start falling apart. Well, 2 of these kind of teams are coming together this week. I call it a getting good, going bad syndrome, and we've got the AFC Game of the Month pitting these 2 teams. I'd like to make this an absolutely free game, and give us a call at 1-800-423-2350 for my AFC Game of the Month. That's absolutely free, 1-800-423-2350.
Attention, all you serious players. I'm Las Vegas handicapper Dave Hammer, and I'm going to be releasing my top-rated over-under selections on my late phone service on each game day. There's going to be one way you can get these big plays, and that's to call 1-800-231-WINS. The best part of this is you get your first selection absolutely free. Remember, you can't get this kind of information anywhere else. Call 1-800-231-WINS. You serious players want to call now.
Hello, football fans. I'm Las Vegas handicapper Dennis Tobler. In the last few weeks, I've hit my ACC Game of the Year, my Big Ten Game of the Year, and my WAC Conference Game of the Year without a loss, and this week it's time to get very serious. I'm releasing my College Game of the Year. The single strongest play of the year I've been waiting a year and a half for goes this week, and you can only get it by calling 1-900-903-0933. For $20, you can have my College Game of the Year.
Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. It's a pleasure now to welcome a gentleman who is exclusively on this show all year and hopefully for many years to come. He lives here in Las Vegas. That's what makes him valuable, and that's the Professor Gordon Jones.
And nice to be here for the lucky 7th week, Bob, as the season really settles down, we get down to business.
All right, but first it's time to go out and catch up with Dave Hammer. He's got those significant line movements that you only get by watching a show right here in Las Vegas, and I know he's going to give us some more of those over and under selections. He's 9-3 on the show, 2-0 last week, and a lot of people think they're credible experts, but Dave, you actually show your credibility.
Thank you, Bob. Being the senior handicapper for the TSI network here in Las Vegas for the last 15 years, I've seen a lot of consistent winning. We truly are a nationwide network of professional people gathering information to beat these point spreads out here in Las Vegas. Our office in New York and LA gives us the kind of information it takes. The best part is going to be we're going to keep winning year after year. Now, here's this week's significant line movements. In the colleges, your first game, Auburn versus Florida. Florida goes from 9 down to 6.5. I think the movement's wrong on this one. Florida has too much offense for Auburn. In your second matchup, it's Houston versus Baylor. Baylor starts out at -2.5. Houston ends up at -1. J.J. Joe can pass with this Houston offense, and it'll be a high-scoring affair, and I look for Baylor to win a close one at home. Your last matchup in the colleges, Kansas is at Iowa State. Kansas goes from 11.5 up to 14. Kansas has too much offense for this poor Iowa State team. Now, in the pros, the Oilers-Broncos total goes from 39 up to 41, and I think this will be an old-fashioned type AFL shootout. Now, that's this week's significant line movements. You viewers out there need to be aware that these line movements are an important tool in our handicapping here in Las Vegas. And it's kind of strange, but the only handicappers I ever see are guys like Dennis Tobler and Gordon Jones. Some of these other guys I don't ever see. I don't think they're even real people that call themselves experts out here in Las Vegas. Now, for you serious players out there, I'm going to be releasing my late over-under selections on my late phone service on each game day. There's only one way you're going to get these late plays, and that's by calling 800-231-WINS. The best part's going to be your first selection's absolutely free. You serious players out there will want to be sure and call 1-800-231 for these big late over-under phone moves. Now, here's 2 more winning selections this week. In your first matchup, it's the Chiefs versus the Cowboys. The total on this one is 37. Play way over the 37. The Chiefs are a very fine offensive football team. They're 3rd in the NFL in scoring. They can beat you with the run or the pass. The Cowboys will add their share of points also. This is an offensive matchup. Play over 37. Now, in your second matchup, it's the Chargers versus Colts. The total's 32 on this one. Play way under. The Colts are 3-2 and only scored 56 points this year. That tells me they have a defense that keeps the scoring low. And we all know the Chargers can't score 46 points so far this year. This is a lack of offense. Play way under the 32. And be sure and listen to the hammer on these 2. Now, I want all you viewers out there to know on my 900 service, I'm going to be releasing my NFL over-under game of the month. I won last month's NFL over-under. You'll want to be sure and call for this one. Only way you're going to get is call 900-454-6600 for only $20. You get this big NFL winner. Plus, you get 5 more NFL selections, 5 more over-under selections, and 5 college selections. Call 900-454-6600 for this big NFL winner. Now, that's it for here in the Strip, Bob. Back to you in the studio.
Well, thank you very much, Dave and Gordon. With information like that, plus what Dennis and you get from the Strip, that really must make that consensus hotline hot.
It's hot, and it's kind of fun to do. You know, I get to talk with Dennis and Dave every single day right here at home base. We all live in Las Vegas. We're checking things uptown, downtown, all the way around the town. And every single day we come up with our top professional, our top college, our top over-under game of the day. And the game we most agree on, that's our consensus hotline.
All right, let's go to a game I know that you really like this weekend. It's Boston College taking a trip to Penn State. Penn State, a 10-point pick. How do you see this one?
You know what I call this game is a shoulda game. It's a shoulda game just like the Monday night shoulda game, where Washington should have knocked off Phoenix the previous week. Poor old Denver should have been knocked off by Kansas City, and so we had to go with those shouldas to reverse. Well, that's what's going to happen this week. Penn State should have beaten Miami. They outdowned them on first downs. They outgained them on the ground. They dominated them on time of possession and in the air, where Miami is so strong. All Penn State did was double them in the air, and everywhere except on the scoreboard. Well, they're going in against a very mediocre Boston College team that has creamed a few patsies. Last week they met somebody. All they could do is tie West Virginia. And if you want history on your side in this game, well, just look at poor old Boston College. They haven't beaten the spread in 3 years, and losers usually do, except last year they did. You go right back to your losing. Penn State, they've beaten it 3 straight years, and winners usually continue winners.
Okay, quickly, your AFC game of the month you've got this week.
Well, the AFC game of the month is a beauty. This is the time of the year when some teams really get good and put it together. Some teams that look good start to fall apart. We've got a game in the AFC where we have 2 teams of that sort coming together. I call it my AFC game of the month. It's absolutely free for the call at 1-800-423-2350.
All right, we'll talk more about that game, and Gordon's got more right after this. Stay with us, everyone.
Hi, football fans. I'm Dave Hammer. And the last 2 years on Football Forecast, I've hit my over-under selections at an incredible winning rate of 75%. I've spotted a mistake on a total this week on the boards out here that I'm going to make my over-under play of the month by simply calling 900-454-6600. You can have this over-under play for only $20. Remember to listen to the hammer on this one. Call 900-454-6600. Call now.
I'm Professor Gordon Jones, and this is the time of the year when the teams that really put it together get good and that some teams really start falling apart. Well, 2 of these kind of teams are coming together this week. I call it a getting good, going bad syndrome, and we've got the AFC game of the month pitting these 2 teams. I'd like to make this an absolutely free game, and give us a call at 1-800-423-2350 for my AFC game of the month. That's absolutely free, 1-800-423-2350.
Hello, football fans. I'm Las Vegas handicapper Dennis Tobler. In the last few weeks, I've hit my ACC game of the year, my Big Ten game of the year, and my WAC conference game of the year without a loss. And this week, it's time to get very serious. I'm releasing my college game of the year. The single strongest play of the year I've been waiting a year and a half for goes this week, and you can only get it by calling 1-900-903-0933. For $20, you can have my college game of the year.
I'm Prof. Gordon Jones, and I live right here in Las Vegas for one purpose and one purpose only, to put my very best games out on the line every single day. That's my top professional game, my top college game, my best over-under game of the day, and I do that every single day at 1-900-976-9199. I also have a parlay line where we accentuate the positive. We're already 7 games ahead on the parlay. Give me a call at 1-900-976-7117.
Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. Time now to go to our television games. And first, a good college game, Gordon. We've got the UCLA Bruins coming off of 2 consecutive Pac-10 losses, traveling to play Washington State. Washington State 5-0, and they're a 4-point pick. How do you see this one?
Well, I think this is where class is going to tell, Bob, because Washington State, I mean, how could you not be 5-0 against Montana, Fresno State, especially Oregon State and Temple? And here's the Washington State team, supposedly with a quarterback of the era, but against teams of that sort, how could you complete only 55% of your passes for only an average of 7 yards per every attempt? I think that actually UCLA playing the likes of San Diego State, BYU, and so on, looked very, very strong in defeat against Stanford. I think Bill Walsh knew he was in with a team that had a possibility of upsetting him. He played it pretty darn close to the vest. And in this particular game, I think you also have history working. Washington State, very uncomfortable as a home favorite. They lose 2 out of every 3 times when they are favored by 4 or something. And on the other hand, as a Pac-10 underdog, whenever UCLA is an underdog, very strong. 14-4 against the spread. I think this could go 10 points the other way.
All right, we have good news for everyone out there. Of course, you announced it last week. Now they just call one line to get your pro, college, and over and under picks.
The lucky 3-in-1 line, and it's 1-900-976-9199. So all we have to do now is remember the games, not the number.
All right, let's go to another selection on television. Pretty good game. The Atlanta Falcons, and they're coming up to the Bay Area to play San Francisco. The Niners, a 10-point pick. How do you see this one?
Bob, is this the revenge games of revenge games of revenge games? I mean, listen, was there ever, ladies and gentlemen, a better team in NFL history than the 49ers who did not make the playoffs? In fact, at the end of last year, they were probably the only team in the league that could have given the Redskins a good battle in the Super Bowl, so they don't even make the playoffs. Why? A 3-point loss to Atlanta and a 5-point loss to Atlanta, and those shouldn't have even been losses. So the 49ers are going into this game with blood in their eye. The best runner on the field, Steve Young. The best passer on the field, Steve Young. The best coach on the field, Seifert, because Glanville sort of wears down over a time in a certain area. Now, they both played the same 2 teams. New Orleans, the 49ers came out 14 points stronger. Against the New York Jets, the 49ers came out 9 points stronger. And so at 10, maybe that doesn't sound like much. But remember, Atlanta was playing both of those teams at home. Meantime, the 49ers are playing them on the road. And I think that's where it gets very, very impressive. So what we have here is a very strong game, I think, where the 49ers can just blow them away.
Okay, let's go to your over and under selection. The Raiders coming off a big victory over Buffalo. Head up to Seattle. The overs and unders here is 33. How do you see this one?
Well, it's about the lowest unders you could find, Bob, but why not go under again? We've won 2 straight weeks right here on TV by going under with Atlanta. Let's go under on this one. If you take the median of this year, you're going to find a Seattle team that's only scoring about 25, and even the Raiders heating up. They're only coming out at about 32. That's under. Now look at the quarterback situation. Can you imagine Marinovich, who's used to the airy spaces of the Coliseum? He comes into the Kingdome. Everything sort of clamps down on him. He's on that artificial turf. That's intimidated a lot of stronger quarterbacks. And meantime, who's on first for the other ball club? Well, what's the name? Stan Gelbarch. This guy was 52% last year with Phoenix. He threw 3 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions, came out with a 42 efficiency rating, and that's when he was warmed up. This game looks like they could put 5 quarters and never get over.
Let's go once again, your 800 number this week. You've got your AFC Game of the Month. Tell us how we can get it.
Well, the reason it's a Game of the Month is there's a team that's getting much, much better. There's a team that's getting much, much worse. And we want to give this one away absolutely free to show what we can do in the NFC and the AFC. And that number to call for the AFC Game of the Month is 1-800-423-2350.
Okay, thank you very much, Gordon. We'll see you next week.
Good to be here on lucky number 7, Bob.
All right, we hope to see you again next week right here on Football Forecast Weekly. And before we sign off, I'd like to thank the columnist from the Casino News, Linda Collins, for stopping by. We invited her here to check out this show and be able to give you a report on what's going on, and hopefully other people will do the same on their shows. And we hope to see Linda again later this season right here. We hope to see you next week. Good night, everyone.